I am recording. So, what is up? How are you doing today, Miasha?
I am doing great. I'm counting down to the day that, my first movie premieres on Amazon. So I am doing excellent and I'm here with you. So that's even better.
Yes, yes. So, it's premiering on Amazon April 2nd, Secret Society. And I know that you wrote this book back in 2006, I believe.
Yeah, it was published in 2006. Yes, and
Published in
it's the first
2006.
time the world got to, read this story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to talk about what kind of inspired you to write this story because it's so interesting how so many themes of the film are still like relevant today, or maybe even more relevant today.
Yeah, that's the blessing in this because the book did come out so long ago. It could have very well been a storyline that's pretty much outdated that nobody really cares to see on the screen. But I guess I was ahead of my time because, like you said, the subject matter is more relevant now. It's more of what we see on a day-to-day basis in society than it was in 2006 when the book came out. But I think that's what made the book such a success and allowed me to have such a blossoming career as a writer because when it came out, it was so under the rug and so, over there that people were like shocked to their core, when they found out the whole twist. And so I feel like the movie is going to do the same for the film industry.
Definitely, yeah. The If you don't have any knowledge of the Secret Society books and everything, like the twist is definitely unexpected in the film. How did you get started writing? Was this like the first kind of novel that you had written, or had you written stories before that?
I have been writing since I was a little girl. At 9, I would write poetry. For me, it was just more so an escape, just to express myself, get my feelings out. I found the best way to do that was through writing and through poetry. And then by the time I got to middle and high school, I was writing. I used to call them plays back then, but I think they were more like scripts, like movie scripts.
Mhm.
And I would write them in my composition book and pass them around to my classmates, and everybody was like eager for me to finish so they could know what happens next. And I think that kind of sparked the idea that I'm actually good at writing. It's not just something I like to do, but it's something that other people enjoy from me. And then by the time I got to college, I already knew without a doubt that I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a published author. I wanted to make movies. Um, I just thought that I would probably get a job first. And then when I retired, that's when I would write my autobiography, and that would be how I become an author. And then I would make a movie on my life, and that would be how I become a filmmaker. But of course, God had other plans.
Yes, God's plan is always better than ours. I discovered. So, what was the road to getting Secret Society actually made into a film?
It took several tries over the years. I guess starting in 2015 is when I wrote the first version of the script. And I reached out to some people that I knew who were in the industry just to get some guidance, find out like what financial support I needed to make a movie, especially a movie that I wanted to look like it was backed by some major people. I didn't want to make a film that looked like an independent film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I got a lot of pushback because people were the script was very ambitious. As you know, with writing a book, your imagination can go wild. You can be in all these different exotic locations. You can be driving the best cars and wearing the best clothes and eating the great food because it's all just on paper. But to translate that on screen, that's when you need like some real physical items. And people thought that I would need millions of dollars to shoot the movie. That kind of intimidated me those years ago, and so I put the movie on the back burner. And I decided in 2019 to shoot my shot when I saw Jamal Hill, who's the director of the film. he posted on his Instagram that he wanted to make 4 movies next year.
Mhm.
And I commented, we should do one together. He reached out. He wanted to know what I had in mind. I sent him Secret Society, the book. He was with it. He got to that twist and he said, you know what, I got to be a part of this. This has not been done before, and I need to be on board with this. And he guided me as someone who had been in this business for years and who had done 10 films before mine.
Mhm.
He knew all the ins and outs, and he really did take me under his wing and guide me through this process. And I trusted him, and he trusted me, and we made it happen.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. That's just really how like you see things coming together that it's meant to be. And that's so cool because a lot of authors don't usually get to write the screenplays for their movies. They usually hire somebody else to do that. So were there any like key changes that you made from the book to the film?
There were the setting is probably the biggest change. The book is set in Philadelphia, where I'm from, and
Oh, okay.
the movie is set in Atlanta, where I was living for 10 years.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, we updated it, made it modern, but the main part of the book and the biggest things that happen in the book are in the movie. And I feel like that way the readers won't be disappointed at all.
Right. Absolutely. The fans of the book will still be able to see the key elements that are in the movie as well. So, did you have a hand in casting and, picking out, oh, like, oh, Tina would wear this or Celeste wouldn't wear that? Like, did you have your hand in that? How involved were you with the full process?
I had my both hands, both feet. Like every part of me was involved in every part of this movie. Part of it is because of the fact that I was the executive producer. Part of it is the fact that I was the writer, I was the costume designer. I wore a lot of hats because I wanted to make sure that the movie did the book justice, but also that it did the story justice. So I was very particular with the cast. I needed to make sure that the energy, the personality, the emotions would be able to be brought to life from each and every cast member, specifically the two leads, Celeste and Tina. As far as the wardrobe, I was big on that. I'm a fashion person anyway.
Mhm.
Coming from West Philly, that's kind of like it's a fashion show when you
Right.
walk outside your house. So I've always been into fashion. And when I wrote the book, I'm detailing everything these girls wear from head to toe every time they get outside. Like,
Gotcha.
so I knew that that was going to be an element that needed to stand out in the film and almost be a character in itself, the fashion. So I definitely made sure I picked out all the wardrobe and made sure that it made sense to the characters and the story.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, without giving too much away, I know that the film kind of ends on a little cliffhanger. And I'm not sure if the book does, but why did you choose to end the film that way?
The book does. It ends
Okay.
the exact same way. And so I definitely wanted to put that in there. The book itself is a trilogy.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it's a part two and a part three. Never enough until death. And so I wanted to do the movie in that same manner. And even though I wasn't really intending on doing a part two, it wasn't like I did it that way because I definitely wanted to do a part two to the movie. Um, but I know after people see it, and so far the people who've seen like the premiere, they're begging for a part two. So I'm already in my mind about doing a part two for
Yeah,
society. Yeah.
definitely. What are some things that you would like people to take away from this film? Because I can only imagine, like, when it comes out, it's going to be all over Twitter, all over social media. There's going to be a lot of different conversations. What are some of the conversations that you hope people will have surrounding the film?
Well, first and foremost, I want people to walk away with a different perspective. I want them to have more compassion and understanding to where people like Celeste and Tina having a more insight as far as that whole struggle of, where they started, and how they ended up, and the reason that a lot of people in their shoes live the lifestyle that they live is because of the society at large not being so open and accepting. So I feel like if people start to talk about that, about acceptance and about being understanding, then maybe that will curb some of those behaviors from people like Celeste and Tina.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think so too. And I'm hoping that'll be one of the key conversations on social media because I know it's going to be buzzing for sure when the film drops.
Mhm,
What were some of your inspirations for Celeste and Tina? Because they're kind of like when I was watching the film, like yin and yang to me.
mhm.
Um, they're very, very similar but different at the same time. Tina is definitely more like an older sister type of vibe. So maybe more so the inspiration for her because she was such a dynamic character.
Yeah, when I was growing up in West Philly at the age that I guess I was about 14, about the age that Celeste and Tina met in the script.
Hmm.
Um, we had our ideas of what we wanted to like live like.
Hmm.
And it was always that one older girl who was living that way.
Hmm.
Um, and we would just watch from afar and admire. And I remember one in particular in my neighborhood who I was watching her get into this fancy car one day, and she pulled me to the side and she was like, "Come ride with me," and she just told me like all of these different things. And I feel like that mentality was so prevalent back then that, a lot of young girls were just like, the only way that they saw out of their environment or out of their current situation was through a guy with some money, and I wanted to kind of explore that and given that whole step-by-step guide, if you will, from Tina's perspective. But of course, with the plot twist, that's a whole different layer that I myself wasn't familiar with. So I had to research. I had to go out and talk to people who live the lifestyle, and I did that and got a lot of information so that I would get it right, so that it would be authentic. But primarily, the mentality is what is the common denominator for a lot of young girls that live in, impoverished neighborhoods who just want a way out, and that was the way they saw fit.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's so important to mentioning that you had to do research, that you had to talk to people to make sure that the film and the story itself stayed authentic. And I also wanted to touch on too, you've got some real heavy hitters in the cast. So what was it like finding out, like a Vivica A. Fox was signing on to do your first film?
It was surreal. It was amazing. It was a blessing. It was all these words that I could I could go on and on with, but the real full circle moment for that was Vivica hosted the stage play version in Atlanta in 2009. So to have
Wow.
her on board for the movie, it was just her. It was paying homage to her, and also I feel like she might have been even paying homage to us because she loved the play. She was a supporter from day one, and for her to be a part of the cast now, it's just amazing.
Yes, that is so amazing. Yeah, like Vivica Fox is, a legend, an icon. So that's so, so cool. And then, you definitely have some new people like Jeremy Meeks, who went viral on social media and is now doing awesome things. And then the two leads, Erica, and I think her name is, I'm not sure, Raina.
Mhm.
Yeah, Raina. So I know that was important to get the two leads, especially to make sure that they have that strong dynamic. And they also kind of look alike too. I was wondering, is that something that is intentional when looking through the story?
So the bond for me was the main ingredient that I was looking for Celeste and Tina. I
Mhm.
wanted their chemistry to come through as if they were really, really friends since the age of 14 and going through, adulthood, and that this was a real story, as if we were just watching these real girls, their lives play out in front of us. And they did that. Like, they didn't know each other before this, but they were able to bond on a level that they different experiences that they both had in their lives, and then they took that bond and transferred it, onto the screen and on set, and it blows me away. But I have to say, when we were first in the casting process, it was tough. It was really tough because two things: one, it's a secret, that we can't reveal before the movie comes out. So we had to be very careful on how we worded what we were looking for in all of our descriptions. And then we needed that acting to really pour through as authentic as possible. We didn't want anybody to look like they were acting. We wanted it to feel like it was really coming from their heart and their soul. So we went through a lot of different auditions, and we were really, really hoping to find the perfect ones. And one thing Jamal said on set, he said, God casted this movie. And that can't be further from the truth, because even just days before we were shooting, we got Jeremy Meeks to sign on as Khalil. And even one of the younger characters in the movie, she plays young Tina, and it's actually Erica's real life daughter who plays her as a
Oh,
younger person.
beautiful.
That was a last minute casting choice as well, but it was perfect. So it was just divine intervention for this whole project. That's how I know it's time.
Mhm.
All the times before I tried to do this movie, it didn't work for a reason, and
Right.
that was because it was meant to be now.
Yeah, and I would love to touch on that as well because like, if the book was published in 2006 and now we're in 2021, a lot of people just don't have that patience today. They don't have that perseverance to, actually realize like, hey, this may take some time to get it perfect, but when it's finally here, it's going to be beautiful and it's going to be ready, and I'm going to be doing it with Amazon. So
Right.
talk a little bit about like just that, those moments where you were like, oh, is this actually going to happen? Is like, why isn't this working out for me?
I've always been a very spiritual person. I guess I attribute it to the things that I went through as a child. So early on, I got to see God's work, and I was so relying upon that I didn't give up, because I just knew that there was something out there for me when it came to this project and when it came to just being a filmmaker in general.
Mhm.
And I think that's the most important thing that we need to remember, is that even though it doesn't happen on our time, or it doesn't happen the way we thought it should, we have to trust. We have to trust in a higher power, and trust the process. And then you'll understand at the end why everything happened the way it did. Just be patient. Just be patient.
Yeah. So before I let you go, I would love to say it, if you could describe secret society in one word, what would it be?
Okay, secret society in one word is jaw dropping.
Woo! I love that. Good word. Good word. Um, and really quickly, what are three reasons people should check out Secret Society on Amazon on April 2nd?
Reason number one, I am a young Black female executive producer.
Let them know. Let them know.
Brag. I did this independently during a pandemic. Every eye that you can think of was stacked against me and my crew and my team. And we pushed through. And not only did we push through, I feel like once people see the movie, they will realize that we pushed through in a major way. This movie, the quality, the locations, the wardrobe, the story, the acting, it's also top notch. It doesn't look and feel like an independent film at all. And I want that to be the opening door for other independent filmmakers, that we too can produce high quality high quality projects and don't need to be looked down upon. So that would be, I guess, reason one, two, and three. But
Yes.
it's a good movie. It's a
Mhm.
good movie. It's going to spark a lot of conversation. You're going to want to talk about it with your friends, family, whoever. So those are all the reasons you should watch Secret Society.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to say congratulations. I can't wait for audiences to see the movie. I know it's going to definitely spark conversations. And I'm hoping that you get that sequel and that third film. And, we'll be back talking again. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Oh, and let me get your socials really quick in case people want to follow you and see what you're doing. And I'm sure after that you're going to get a bunch of headshots and resumes and your emails, so people are going to want to work with you.
I'm ready because I'm definitely going to be doing more films. So you can find me on Instagram, Miasha Official. That's Miasha Official. The movie Instagram page is Secret Society Movie, and the hashtag is Secret Society Movie.
Perfect, perfect. So when everybody is watching April 2nd, that whole weekend, go ahead and just drop hashtag Secret Society. And, I'm sure you guys are going to be scrolling through, seeing all the love and all the support and everything. So congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. And I'll just stop.